campaign, doing that work, I don't know where I would be in this circumstance, but it certainly wouldn't be where I am now. And so that was a tremendous help to my ability to not just transition and hit the ground running, as it were, but also to do that work that I'm so compassionate about. As I said, the experiences that I experienced, that's etched in my very being. And it can only make sense if I'm in position to fight to change it. I can't, there's no way of justifying the level of hurt, trauma, and abuse that I've witnessed and have in some ways lived through. There's no way to justify that if I can't use that experience to change the systems of injustice that are inflicted upon people who have caused harm. And so, to the extent that the campaign affords me that opportunity, then it's not just the monetary thing about having a meaningful job. It's the work that gives value to me as a human being and honors the experiences that I've been through, the tragedy that I've lived through. If that makes sense.
Yes.
It makes perfect sense. You're able to utilize some things that the world doesn't want to make it easy to utilize.
Indeed.
To your advantage, and you can speak a voice that a lot of people can't because you've been in these positions.
Indeed. Indeed. And that's one of the things that the campaign does, not just as kind of like giving lip service to having directly impacted people become leaders. Their organizational strategy, goals, and objectives is geared towards making that happen in a real way. And so my position as the Pennsylvania coordinator is reflective of the intentionality behind empowering directly impacted folks. And so there's not a lot of organizations that do that. They may recognize what we have to offer in terms of insight, understanding, storytelling, narrative, but they would like to mine our experience for whatever jewels they can get from that towards their own benefit as an organization without necessarily empowering those people who live those experiences. And that's not the case with the campaign, right? They don't try to mine the jewels. If anything, they try to put them on display, right? These are your jewels, despite what you have been through. Let us be in a position to polish them up so the world can see. And so they have a very different perspective.
And they do that very well. You know, because I love the campaign. And you know this, Jody know this. You know, and I keep saying it. When I was incarcerated this time around, they reached out. And Jody was like, let us know what we could do. She even called a few people in New York on my team, like, what can I do? You know, and that goes to the heart of what they do, which is we're not gonna let one of our guys rot in prison based on a false accusation. You know, because that's what it was, a false accusation, right? And they never doubted. They never doubted me. They never questioned it. They just said, whatever happened. What can we do to help you get out of prison? You know, and when I came home, they reached out. You know, and I say this because there's very few people that's willing to take that chance. And like you said, put them Jews on display. This is what we got to offer. Because if you look around the city right now, you have a number of juvenile lifers doing tremendous, important work. And because we juvenile lifers, we don't get the credit for it.
Right.
You know, this morning I was just talking about it with a friend, right? That I was one of the originator guys that created the Gratis for Mural Art Restored program. We raised millions of dollars in grants. We created 52 murals from inside the prison walls. The first outside of city limits mural was created in Gratis for prison. And we never got an honorable mention for our work. How is it that society could benefit from prison labor, but we can't benefit from our own work? And as we move on to this fight for eligibility for lifers, me personally, I decided I'm gonna tell that story because I got the evidence, I got the pictures, everything. We painted the murals that people take tours now, come from all around the world to take tours in the city. Those murals was created by 17 lifers at that time, you know, and not once did the organizations involved say, you know what, these are the guys that did that. Not once. But the story changed now because I'm out. And what I was taught by Brother Eddie is tell your own narratives. You know, and I'm not telling my story to throw shade on anybody. I'm just telling my story to inform the people that 17 lifers helped beautify the city. Communities that were tore up, that today got our murals on. Lifers, you know, the same guys that y'all think should be in prison for life are contributing back to the community, and you don't even know about it. So I think it's time for me to tell that story, and that's what I love about the campaign, that they just don't use you because you was a juvenile lifer. You know, they put you on display. This is what the world needs to be watching. They the one you need to talk to.
And unfortunately, anybody makes a misstep, that's who gets the attention.
Indeed. But we're not the sum total of the worst thing that we've ever
Right.
done, and we're, as human beings, we're all fallible, right? We all make mistakes, and as I said, I often try to say now that it's not my story, right? It's not my narrative. It's our story, our narrative, right? There's an interconnectedness in terms of our humanity, our shared humanity, and we have to embrace that, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's not to say that individuals don't cause harm. Certainly that takes place. But it's often the case that harmed people harmed others. But it's also as true that healed people can help heal others. And so as a person who was the recipient of harm and unfortunately participated in harm, I, like Suave now, are amongst the healers, right? Going forth, doing what we can to heal ourselves as well as our communities through our works and actions. And we're both a part of fabulous organizations that empower that hope and healing that's taking place.
You know, we got to go on a commercial break, but I want to say this, man, to the brothers that's just coming home, get involved. You know, this brother is not someone that you just call. This brother you call, he gonna call you right back. He's reachable. You know, he's here to represent us. And the same way I tell people we need Larry Krasner in office, because Larry Krasner is helping transform the criminal justice system, we need this brother in his position. Because he's our voice in Washington. You know, when we need lobbyists to lobby for our causes, that's who we call. That's who we got to call. You know, and we always complain about, man, but I don't like such and such. Listen, it's not about that. You know, there's plenty of people that I didn't like in prison that today I'm best friends with. And you listening to a Justice Conversation on Opsala Radio.
We're going to have to wrap it up in the next segment, I think. So let's talk about some of the events, some of the specifics.
Oh, they got some good work
that you're involved with currently. How you get stories out there, those kinds of things. Yeah.
So Facebook, I deliver. So I expect y'all to tune in, support this brother, because if y'all don't, I'm gonna be really upset, man. This is the brother, man. This is the brother, man, that's putting juvenile lifers on the map in a positive way. Every time one of us mess up, or people go crazy about exposing it, we shouldn't let that person out. The same way we do that, we're gonna do the same thing when somebody's doing good. And if y'all want to come on Usalat Radio, then y'all need to support the campaign. I can and brother Abdullah Latif. My name is Suave Gonzalez, and I approve this message. I know you're gonna love this Facebook.
Yep. Gotcha.
Five, 4, 3.
Welcome back to Just Conversations with Dr. Brian O'Neill and Luis Suave Gonzalez. And our guest, Abdullah Latif, is the Pennsylvania coordinator for the National Campaign for Fair Sentencing of Youth. So, Abdullah, I wonder if you could talk about some of the things your organization is currently involved with to help educate the public and get some of these stories out there about formerly incarcerated people.
Yeah, thank you. So we're actually in the in the process of developing the internal capacity to use our comms team to produce stories in-house. So that's an ongoing project, and we're coming along quite nicely in that. So what we do at present in terms of our engagement with formerly directly impacted folks, formerly life sentence children, is we enable those who wish to tell their stories, their narratives, and record that, and we share that on our website. But we also connect them with community sponsored engagements where they have an opportunity, whether it's through colleges and universities or churches and the likes or organizations. And we're even moving into the space now of dealing with some of our corporate partners to share that narrative and to educate those who otherwise not only don't know about the reforms that have been made and the needs that still exist, but also didn't really understand that children were in fact sentenced to death by incarceration, otherwise known as life without possibility of parole. And so through all mediums, both digital, social, and through organizations, universities, and corporate engagements, we're creating and have created opportunities for directly impacted individuals to share that story and that narrative. Personally, the campaign has also empowered me to participate as a actually senior fellow with the Philadelphia Reentry Think Tank, and we've just completed a social media justice workshop, which I headed, but also looking to partner and work through Philly Cam to further develop the skills necessary to help us as an organization produce content internally and share it through those various mediums as well.
Well, no, just want to let you know that us in Usala, we have a system where we produce podcasts for other people too. This house is open to you, brother. You know, I told you that. You know, wherever I get a platform, I try to share it with others. You know, because believe it or not, having a platform where you could put your message out and then go out to the masses, make a difference to me. And I think brothers need to learn how to use what we have. You know, and this right here in the studio is one of them.
Right, and as you said that, it caused me to reflect upon the first time that we actually met on the street on this side of the wall, and you were doing the amazing things that you were doing, and one of the first things out of your mouth is that I have this opportunity. Come on with it, like it's available to you, and the resources that you had and had developed, it wasn't like this is mine. It's like this is open to you. Let's build, let's develop, and that too.
You know, like I said, I always told you, I admire the work you do. I love the work you do, but I also believe that it's not about us. We are in a good position in life. I'm in a good position in life where I got medical insurance, health insurance. I live in a good place. I got a good job with benefits, but then as I see my brothers that's, been out here a little longer than me struggling, I wonder why is that person still struggling when you've been home almost 3 years, right? And I realized that not all of us had the same level of support, the same invitations to participate in different programs. Not all of us took the time in the prison to believe that one day I'm getting out, so I got to perfect whatever I want to do. I did that in the prison, and I always saw myself working in the community. So I try to be involved in different community projects, and but I also believe that whatever platform we create, we should share, we pay it forward. Because if you ask me, who helped you get in there? I ain't do this by myself. Like I said, I got one of the top journalists in the country that's been in my team for almost 30 years. She took me under her wing, even when I was in prison. And she always say, pay it forward. You pay it forward by allowing other people to be part of your platform. Because without other people, you really don't have nothing. You just got a platform. So that's why, I always believe that we need to bring people to this show that's been there and done that. So I appreciate you coming here, brother, for real.
Abdullah, this, for example, Department of Parole, do they know about your service? Do they make referrals to you directly?
No, they haven't made any direct referrals, but they do know about the service that we provide, and there's been engagement. We've done workshops actually with agents to help them understand about the parole process from the other side. And that's been more geared towards trying to make sure that people parole eligible have a meaningful shot to be released, but also working around some of the supports that are needed after being released. As I said, not everyone has the same capacity in terms of support system, right? Many have come out 40 years later, right? In some cases, 30 years later, and don't have the same level of family support.
Right.
And so their needs are different.
Sure.
And so trying to be more responsive, both as we create system accountability as well as individual accountability, right? And so we can't put the onus on the returning citizen, him or herself, particularly after being incarcerated for decades as children and trying to navigate all of those things. It's not the same as someone who went to a county prison or whatever for 1 or 2 years or a few months and coming back and putting their life together. It's just not the same. And so we're trying to help them understand that it is a difference. There are certain unique needs, and trying to develop the necessary supports to help that transition. And again, it's not just to be able to survive, right? I mean, people can do that. That's not the metric that we want to use. We want to have individuals to be able to thrive, right? And that's not to disregard the pain that we've caused others, right? There's a restorative process to that, but there's also redemption, right? There's the ability to overcome that harm to a certain extent and to still live life and to pay homage to those people who we have done harm to by doing good works, good deeds, paying it forward, as Wale said. But many of us need to be empowered to be able to do that.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the parole department can do a better job of connecting people to support services rather than just policing them.
Indeed.
And spending a lot of money on things like urine checks and things of that nature.
Indeed. And so part of that is the advocacy efforts as well to deal with some of the parole policies as they relate to our population particularly. I mean, obviously there's problems throughout, just universal problems with parole in that apparatus, but we have a specific interest in terms of formerly life sentence children and what that supervision should look like for those folks. Although ultimately we don't believe that it's necessary, but for those states that like Pennsylvania, who impose lifetime tails.
Right. I'm reminded of a story actually of California, in which I wish I remember the guy's name, but I can't. but he was convicted of killing his father. It was a long history of domestic abuse.
Mm.
But he didn't get a life sentence, but he did a substantial number of time. And he was struggling on the streets. He was thinking of committing another crime to get back in prison.
Mm.
And his parole officer mentioned him a job in corrections. It was a counselor type position or something.
Right.
That would be the last place he would go back. But he did. He ended up becoming a superintendent
Mm.
in the jail
Wow.
system.
Wow.
He rose up the ranks. There had actually was a formal protest when his name came up because he was a convicted felon.
Mm.
But he got endorsements from sheriffs.
Mm.
The sheriff's department endorsed him.
Wow.
So he overcame all that, and he has a long, distinguished career in a very progressive jail system in San Francisco.
Yeah.
He might be retired by now. I can't remember his name, but I've written to him.
Yeah.
His story's been featured a couple times on national media.
Right.
But that was the role of a parole officer.
Indeed. Indeed.
If that parole officer had not steered him in that direction, his outcome might have been a lot different.
Indeed. Indeed.
I mean, you know, I don't want to sit here and make it sound like all parole officers are
Right.
bad, right? Because
Right.
you got some good ones.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, and they are restricted by what their supervisors allow them to do,
Right.
right? But I say this, that I came home, I never asked a parole officer, like, I need a job, I need this, right? Because I consider my release a blessing, right? So anything other than that, I believe I can do on my own. And it haven't been easy. You know, I struggled. But what I learned in prison is the same way I work for 17 cents, and my goal when I was working in that kitchen job was to get 42 cents. It's the same way I work out here.
Yeah.
You know, I work hard because I believe that even though I got a college degree, there's somebody with a master's degree that never been incarcerated that's probably going for the same job.
Right.
So I got to be a little better. I got to work a little harder.
Right.
You know, and this is what I tell the brothers when they come home, like, yo, we have to be better. You know, we have to be 10 times better than the next person. And a lot of them take it, oh, that's your ego. No, that's just me making sure that when I go for a job interview,
Right.
that I'm getting the job, you know, and not just like,
Yeah.
you know, and so we got to be better, man. And I say this to the brothers, man, we're not going to put it all on you, right? But step your game up. The same way we in the prisons, you know, trying to show off for them chicken head prison guards, we out here now, we got to show off our family. Because, you know, our families and our community has expectation of us. You know,
Yeah.
the people that put in the work to get us out, they you know, they might not tell you, but they expect you to do good. And when I mean good, it don't mean you have to have $1 million. Just stay out of jail. Don't commit no more crimes. Right? Stay out the bull crap. And at least volunteer. You know, I feel good when I can just say, you know what, I'm gonna go volunteer at the soup kitchen. I do that all the time. In fact, I work in an organization where we serve a population of mentally ill, formerly incarcerated people. And when I see people that I've done time with, that come down there and I get to help them out, that make me feel good. This is what we call you paying it forward.
Yeah.
You know, so everybody got to play their part, you know,
Indeed.
and you playing your part.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I hope that to be the case. But there's also, as I said, particularly the organization that I work for that empowers me to be able to do so. And the thing, and one of the things that hopefully we can talk about in the future is about the trauma, right? Because some of the folks who aren't doing as well, it's not necessarily because of a lack of effort or being indifferent and not trying to take care of responsibility. Some of them really are struggling with the trauma of that incarceration, right, and what that experience is, and those traumas aren't necessarily being addressed. And so while we would like to have access to opportunity for everyone, part of that is recognizing that prison has damaged many of us.
That's right.
Right, in ways that is infathomable. And we have to dig into that and try to reverse that. So.
And we hope we could bring you back and do another show on that trauma. Right now, before we leave, I want to thank you, the organization, everybody involved with the campaign, Jody, Eddie, Eric, everybody. Much love. Quickly, how can our listeners get to know about the campaign? Do they have a website that they can tune into that you can give the information to?
Absolutely. You can log on to the campaign for the fair sentencing of youth.org or cfsy.org, and you can find us there and how to engage with the organization and lend support to the organization as well.
And again, we thank Brother Abdul Latif. Shout out to Eric Alexander, Eddie Elias, Jody Camp, the whole team in the campaign in ICANN. We love y'all from Philadelphia. Y'all listening to A Justice Conversation on Osala Radio, and our show is produced by Edwin Lopez.
And
Our
our-
music is by Moby.
Moby, very good. I'm amazed you remembered it. Thanks again for tuning in.
Say what's up to the people, Latif.
I was thinking what I wanted to
Say
ask
what's up,
you,
man.
Latif.
Say what's up. We ain't
What's
done
up,
yet.
what's up, what's
up, what's
Show-
up?
We ain't done
Facebook
yet. We
family.
still recording. We
I
still
would like to
recording.
do a panel at West Chester University with you, Suave, and I think maybe somebody else. Maybe one of the female lifers that I just
was just thinking.
I just had last semester.
Right.
Maybe the three. Making 3 and 3 might become tough to have more than 3. Although we could probably put 10 up there.
Right.
If we made it over 2 days, we could do 10 people. But it was funny because I just looked up something online. This guy sent me an email. On Facebook, I saw it.
Well, let me cut this off down. We don't want that on tape.
That's right. He does some kind of
Yo, peace out.
he does
See you
some
guys
kind
next
of,
week, brothers.